Maya Rodriguez stepped off the transport ship and onto the dusty metal platform of Epsilon 7 mining station. The cold air hit her face like a slap, and she pulled her work jacket tighter around her shoulders. Behind her, 6 crew members hauled their equipment cases and scanning gear down the ramp. The mining station looked exactly like what was abandoned, rusty, and forgotten. Tom Wilson, her lead engineer, whistled low as he looked around at the empty buildings and broken machinery scattered across the platform. "Boss, this place has seen better days." Maya nodded and checked her tablet. The corporate briefing had been simple enough. Epsilon 7 had been a working mining station 40 years ago until the ore ran out. Recent deep scans from orbital satellites had detected valuable mineral deposits far below the original mining shafts. Her job was to survey the area, figure out what equipment they needed, and prepare the site for full mining operations. Lisa, get the portable generators running. Maya called her electronics specialist. "We need power before we can do anything else." Lisa Martinez began unpacking the generator units while the rest of the crew set up their base camp in one of the more stable-looking buildings. Maya walked to the edge of the platform and looked out across the alien landscape. Epsilon 7 sat on a world the humans had never bothered to name, just another rock with useful minerals buried in its crust. The sky was a pale green color, and 2 small moons hung visible even in the daylight. What made this job different was what lay beneath their feet. The deep scans had shown something unusual mixed in with the mineral deposits, geometric shapes that looked too regular to be natural. The corporate executives had mentioned ancient alien ruins, but told Maya not to worry about them. Her job was minerals, not archaeology, but Maya had been in construction and restoration business for 15 years. She knew the difference between natural rock formations and something built by intelligent beings. The scan data showed structures that went deep underground, much deeper than any mining operation would need to go. "Generators are online, boss," Lisa called out. Maya walked back to the team. "Good. Tom, I want you and Ben to check out the old mining shafts. See how far down they go and what condition they're in. Lisa, start running detailed scans of the underground structures. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with before we start digging." Ben Torres, one of the younger crew members, looked nervous. "Maya, what if those ruins are protected or something? I heard some alien sites have automated defenses." Maya had heard the same stories. Ancient alien technology that could still be active after thousands of years. Weapon systems that attacked anyone who got too close. But the preliminary scans hadn't shown any energy signatures or active systems. "We'll be careful," she said. "That's why we scan everything first." The crew spent the rest of the day setting up their equipment and running initial surveys. The old mining shafts went down about 200 meters before ending in solid rock. But Lisa's deep scanning equipment showed that the alien structures extended much further down, almost a full kilometer below the surface. As the pale green sun began to set, Maya gathered her crew around the portable heater in their temporary shelter. The scan results were spread across the table, showing cross-sections of the underground structures. "It's definitely artificial," Lisa said, pointing to the readings. "These are chambers, corridors, and what looks like some kind of central facility. The construction material is something I've never seen before. It's denser than steel, but shows organic properties." Tom studied the scans with a frown. "How do we get down there? The original mining shafts don't connect to any of this." Maya had been thinking about the same problem. "We'll need to drill a new access shaft. But first, I want to know more about what's down there." She pointed to a large chamber shown on the deepest scan level. "This room is huge, at least 50 meters across. And there's something in the center of it. Something big." The scan showed a dark mass in the middle of the chamber, but the readings were unclear. It could be machinery, a statue, or something else entirely. Over the next 3 days, Maya's crew worked to drill a narrow access shaft down to the alien structures. The work was slow and careful. The strange construction material of the ruins was incredibly hard, and their drilling equipment had to be constantly recalibrated. On the 4th day, they broke through into the first chamber. Maya rappelled down the access shaft with a portable light and camera system. The chamber she entered was clearly alien in design. The walls curved in ways that human architects would never use, and strange symbols were carved into surfaces that gleamed like polished stone. "The air is breathable," she reported through her comm system. "Oxygen levels are actually higher than normal. There's some kind of atmosphere processing system still working down here." She moved through several smaller chambers, following the route they had mapped from the surface scans. Each room was empty but showed signs of advanced technology. Panels in the walls that might have been control systems. Conduits running along the ceiling that still hummed with faint energy. Finally, Maya reached the entrance to the large central chamber. The doorway was massive, at least 10 meters high and just as wide. Beyond it lay darkness that her portable lights couldn't fully penetrate. "I'm going into the main chamber now," she reported. Maya stepped through the doorway and immediately felt a change in the air. It was warmer here, and there was a faint vibration that seemed to come from everywhere at once. She moved her lights around the walls and saw more of the carved symbols, these ones larger and more elaborate than the others. Then her light beam found the center of the chamber, and Maya stopped breathing. Something huge lay on a raised platform in the middle of the room. At first glance, it looked like a dragon from human mythology, but this was no fantasy creature. It was real, alien, and magnificent. The being was at least 15 meters long from nose to tail, with four powerful limbs ending in clawed hands and feet. Its body was covered in scales that seemed to be part organic tissue and part advanced technology. Maya moved closer, her heart pounding. The creature's chest was rising and falling slowly. It was alive. Biomechanical implants were visible along the dragon's spine and skull, connected by cables and tubes to systems built into the platform. Status lights blinked weakly on various pieces of equipment, and Maya could hear the faint hum of life support systems. "Lisa, are you getting this?" Maya asked, making sure her camera was recording everything. "Holy hell, Maya. What is that thing?" Maya walked slowly around the platform, studying the sleeping creature. Its scales were dulled with age and contamination. Some of the biomechanical implants showed signs of corrosion or damage. Tubes connected to its body carried fluids that looked more like sludge than the clear liquids they probably once were. "It's some kind of stasis system," Maya said, "but it's failing. Look at these readings." She held her scanner up to the various pieces of equipment. Power levels were low and dropping. Several warning indicators were flashing red. Whatever had been keeping this creature alive for however long it had been down here, the system was breaking down. Maya found what looked like a control panel near the head of the platform. The symbols were alien, but some of the displays showed graphs and numbers that she could interpret. Life signs, power consumption, system status. All of it was declining. "Boss, you need to get out of there." Tom's voice came through her comm. "Those power readings are getting unstable." But Maya couldn't look away from the sleeping dragon. Even in its current condition, she could see the nobility in its features, the intelligent design of its biomechanical enhancements. This wasn't just some alien animal. This was a person, a being with consciousness and purpose. And it was dying. The stasis systems that had kept it alive were failing after who knew how many years of operation. Maya could see contamination in the life support fluids, corrosion on the biomechanical interfaces, and warning lights indicating critical system failures. "I'm coming back up," Maya finally said. "But we're not leaving. Not yet." As she prepared to climb back up the access shaft, Maya took one last look at the sleeping dragon. She had spent her career restoring broken machinery, cleaning up industrial sites, and bringing abandoned facilities back to life. This was just another restoration project. A very big, very complicated, very alien restoration project. But still, just a job that needed to be done. And Maya Rodriguez had never walked away from a job that needed to be done. Maya climbed back up the access shaft with her mind racing. She had seen a lot of strange things in her 15 years of industrial work, but nothing had prepared her for finding a living alien dragon in stasis. When she reached the surface, her crew was waiting with worried expressions. "Boss, what the hell is down there?" Tom asked as Maya pulled off her safety harness. Maya gathered her team around the scan displays. "It's a living being. Some kind of alien that's been in suspended animation. The stasis systems are failing, And if we don't do something soon, it's going to die. Ben looked at the readings and shook his head. Maya, we're miners, not alien doctors. We should report this to corporate and let them send specialists. By the time corporate gets specialists out here, that thing will be dead, Maya replied. Besides, I've been looking at the biomechanical systems. This isn't medical equipment. It's industrial life support. Complex, but still machinery that can be repaired and maintained. Lisa pulled up detailed scans of the underground chamber. The power systems are definitely failing. But look at this. The basic design is similar to the life support systems we use on deep space mining platforms. More advanced, but the same principles. Maya nodded. She had been thinking the same thing. The stasis chamber was essentially a very sophisticated life support system, and Maya had worked on plenty of those. The biomechanical implants were more complex than anything she had seen, but they were still machines that could be cleaned, repaired, and maintained. What's the worst that could happen? Tom asked. It could wake up and kill us all, Ben said quickly. Maya looked at the scan data again. The creature was large and obviously powerful, but the readings showed it was weak from whatever had put it in stasis in the first place. The life signs are too low for it to be dangerous right now. And if we don't help, it's going to die anyway. She made her decision. We're going to try to stabilize the systems. Tom, I need you to prepare the portable medical equipment. Lisa, see if you can interface our computers with their control systems. Ben, get the emergency power cells ready. We might need to boost their failing systems. Ben started to protest again, but Maya cut him off. This is my call. Anyone who doesn't want to be part of this can wait on the surface. Nobody moved to leave. The next few hours were spent preparing equipment and running more detailed scans. Maya wanted to understand as much as possible about the alien's condition before attempting any repairs. The scans showed that the creature's body was integrated with advanced biomechanical systems that regulated everything from breathing to blood circulation. It's like nothing I've ever seen, Lisa said as she studied the readings. The organic and mechanical components are completely integrated. I can't tell where the biology ends and the technology begins. Maya rappelled back down into the chamber, this time with a full equipment pack and several crew members. The alien dragon lay exactly as she had left it, chest rising and falling in the slow rhythm of deep stasis. Working carefully, Maya began connecting her diagnostic equipment to the alien control systems. The interfaces were different from human technology, but the basic principles of data flow and system monitoring were universal. I'm getting readings, she reported. The main power core is at 12% and dropping. Life support fluid circulation is down to minimum levels. Several biomechanical interfaces are showing error codes. Tom set up the portable medical scanner and pointed it at the sleeping creature. Heart rate is slow but steady. Brain activity is minimal but present. This thing is definitely alive, just in some kind of induced coma. Maya found the main control interface and began trying to understand the alien symbols and displays. Some of them seemed to represent basic concepts: power levels, fluid flow, temperature regulation. Others were completely foreign. Then something unexpected happened. The symbols on the control panel began to change, shifting and rearranging themselves into patterns that Maya could almost understand. The alien technology was adapting to her presence, trying to communicate. Lisa, are you seeing this? Maya called. The control interface is rewriting itself. It's learning from your interactions and trying to create a communication protocol. Slowly, Maya began to understand the displays. The stasis systems have been running for over 2,000 years. The creature was not just sleeping. It had been placed in preservation mode during some kind of emergency. The technology had kept it alive far longer than originally intended, but the systems were finally breaking down. As Maya worked to understand controls, she noticed movement from the dragon. Its breathing was becoming deeper and more regular. The biomechanical implants along its spine began to pulse with brighter lights. Maya, it's waking up, Tom said nervously. The dragon's eyes opened slowly, revealing intelligent golden irises that focused immediately on Maya. For a moment, neither human nor alien moved. Then the creature tried to lift its head and let out a sound that was part roar and part mechanical whine. Maya stepped back, but didn't run. The dragon's attempt to move had been weak and unsteady. Whatever had put it in stasis, it was still far. The creature's mouth opened, and sounds came out that were definitely attempts at communication. The control panel near Maya's hand began displaying new symbols, and she realized the dragon was trying to speak through the interface system. Lisa, can you run the universal translator through these symbols? Working on it. The patterns are complex, but there's definitely linguistic structure. Maya looked directly at the dragon and spoke slowly. We're here to help. Your systems are failing. The dragon's golden eyes fixed on her, and more symbols appeared on the control panel. The translation system began processing the patterns, and broken words appeared on Maya's display. Guardian, duty, protect, knowledge. The dragon tried to sit up, but the effort was too much. It collapsed back onto the platform with another mechanical whine. More symbols flowed across the displays. Long time. We're ended, still watching. Maya moved closer to the control panel. How long have you been asleep? The dragon's response took several minutes to translate properly. When the words finally appeared, Maya's crew stared in shock. 2,347 years, 8 months, 16 days. Tom whistled low. That's older than human space travel. The dragon continued to communicate through control interface. Slowly, Maya began to understand its situation. The creature called itself Keth, and it had been a guardian warrior for something called the Drakari Empire. When a great war had threatened to destroy important knowledge and technology, Keth and others like him had been placed in stasis to protect it. I was meant to wake when the war ended, the translated symbols read. But no one came. Maya studied the failing life support systems around Keth. The war did end, a long time ago. Your empire is gone, but you survived. Keth's response was a sound that the translation system labeled as grief. The dragon had been sleeping while his entire civilization disappeared from the galaxy. The knowledge must be protected, Keth communicated. It is my duty. Maya looked at the biomechanical systems keeping Keth alive. The contamination and system failures were worse than she had first thought. Without major repairs and maintenance, the dragon would be dead within days. Your systems are failing, Maya told him. We're industrial engineers. We might be able to help, but you'll have to trust us. Keth's golden eyes studied Maya carefully. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then, symbols appeared on the control panel. You are not Drakari. Why would you help? Maya thought about how to answer that question. She could explain about corporate mining operations and profit margins, but somehow that didn't seem right. Instead, she told the truth. Because you need help, and we can provide it. Keth's response took a long time to appear. Your species is unknown to me, but I sense honor in your words. If you can restore what time has corrupted, I will accept your aid. Maya nodded and turned to her crew. You heard him. We have permission to proceed. Ben looked nervous. Maya, we don't know anything about alien biology. What if we make things worse? Then we'll figure out as we go, Maya replied. Tom, start analyzing the life support fluids. I want to know exactly what's contaminated and what could be cleaned. Lisa, see if you can isolate the failing systems so we can work on them one at a time. As her crew began their work, Maya turned back to Keth. The dragon was watching her with those intelligent golden eyes, and she could see both hope and resignation in his expression. This is going to take time, she told him, and it might not work. I have waited over 2 millennia, Keth replied to the interface. I can wait longer if there's hope. Maya looked at the massive alien warrior, his once magnificent scales dulled by centuries of neglect, his biomechanical systems failing one by one. She had restored a lot of broken machinery in her career, but this was different. This wasn't just equipment. This was a person who had been alone for longer than human civilization had existed. We'll get you cleaned up and running again, Maya promised. It's what we do. Maya spent the next 12 hours studying every detail of Keth's biomechanical systems. The dragon had fallen back into a light sleep state, but his breathing was becoming more labored as the life support systems continued to deteriorate. She knew they had to act fast. The first challenge was understanding how the alien technology worked. The biomechanical implants were integrated so completely with Keth's organic systems that removing them would probably kill him. Instead, Maya needed to clean and repair them while they remained connected to his body. The contamination is everywhere, Tom reported as he analyzed samples of the life support fluids. These liquids were probably clear when the system was new, but 2,000 years of recycling has left them full of biological waste products and chemical breakdown compounds. Lisa looked up from her work on the control interfaces. I've identified 17 separate life support systems: circulation, oxygenation, waste removal, nutrition delivery, neural interface regulation, and 12 others I can't even figure out what they do. Maya nodded as she examined one of the neural interface ports on Keth's skull. The metal contacts were corroded, and the surrounding organic tissue showed signs of chronic irritation. We start with the basics: clean the contaminated fluids, repair the corroded connections, and restore proper circulation. Then we move on to the more complex systems. Ben was setting up the sonic cleaning equipment they had brought from their industrial supply cache. Maya, are you sure this stuff is safe to use on living tissue? The sonic cleaners are designed for delicate electronics cleaning, Maya replied. Low power, high frequency. It should break up contamination without damaging organic material. She hoped she was right. Maya began with the fluid circulation system. Working carefully, she disconnected the main circulation lines from Keth's body and began flushing them with clean solution. The liquid that came out was dark brown and filled with debris that had been accumulating for centuries. Keth stirred as the cleaning process began, his golden eyes opening to watch Maya work. Through the control interface, he communicated his concern. The neural links carry my memories and consciousness. If they are damaged, I will cease to be myself. Maya paused in her work. She hadn't considered that the biomechanical systems might be storing parts of Keth's mind. Can you disconnect from the neural links temporarily while we clean them? For short periods only. Too long without the interfaces and my consciousness will fragment. This made the work much more dangerous. Maya would have to clean and repair the neural interfaces while Keth remained connected to them. One mistake could damage his mind permanently. Tom, I need you to monitor his vital signs constantly. If anything looks wrong, we stop immediately. Maya started with the least critical neural interface first. Using precision tools, she carefully cleaned the corroded contact points while Keth remained conscious and alert. The alien metal responded well to her cleaning solutions, and the corrosion began to dissolve away. That feels better, Keth communicated. The connection is clearer now. Encouraged, Maya moved to the next interface. This one was more heavily contaminated, and she had to use the sonic cleaner to break up the accumulated deposits. Keth tensed as the cleaning began, but his vital signs remained stable. Strange sensations, he told her, but not painful. Lisa was working on the main power distribution system. Maya, I think I found the primary cause of the power drain. There's a feedback loop in the charging system that's been wasting energy for centuries. If I can correct it, we should be able to boost power levels significantly. Do it, Maya said as she finished cleaning the second neural interface. The moment Lisa made the correction, lights throughout the chamber became brighter. Keth's biomechanical implants began pulsing with renewed energy, and his breathing became deeper and more regular. Power levels increasing to 40%, Tom reported. Heart rate is stronger. Brain activity is increasing. Maya could see the difference immediately. Keth's scales were beginning to show hints of their original luster, and his movements were becoming more coordinated. But there was still a long way to go. The most challenging part of the restoration was cleaning Keth's scales themselves. 2,000 years of stasis had left them coated with a biofilm that was part organic decay and part chemical contamination. The film was interfering with his natural temperature regulation and making it difficult for his biomechanical systems to interface properly with his skin. I'm going to have to clean each scale individually, Maya told her crew. This is going to take hours. She started at Keth's head and worked her way down his neck. Each scale had to be carefully cleaned with specialized solvents and then polished to restore its natural properties. The work was tedious and delicate. Too much pressure could damage the scales, but too little wouldn't remove the contamination. Keth remained patient throughout the process, occasionally offering comments through the interface system. No one has tended my physical form in over 2 millennia. It is strange to feel care being taken with such details. As Maya worked, she began to see the true magnificence of Keth's design. His scales weren't just protective armor. They were part of an integrated system that included thermal regulation, electromagnetic sensing, and communication interfaces. Each scale was a masterpiece of biomechanical engineering. "Your people were incredible engineers," Maya told him as she cleaned a particularly complex scale that contained multiple sensor arrays. The Drakari spent thousands of years perfecting the integration of organic and mechanical systems. Keth replied, "We believed that the boundary between living beings and technology was artificial." Tom had moved on to analyzing the waste removal systems and discovered a serious problem. "Maya, the biological waste processing system has been backing up for decades. There's a massive accumulation of toxins that need to be cleared before they cause organ damage. This was the most dangerous part of the restoration. Maya had to flush Keth's internal waste processing system while keeping him alive and conscious. She connected external filtration equipment to his circulation system and began the slow process of removing centuries of accumulated toxins. Keth's vital signs fluctuated wildly during the toxin removal process. His temperature spiked, his heart rate became irregular, and at one point he lost consciousness entirely. Maya and her crew worked frantically to stabilize his condition while the filtration equipment continued its work. "Come on, Keth," Maya said as she monitored his neural activity. "You've survived 2,000 years. Don't give up on us now." After 6 hours of filtration, Keth's systems finally stabilized. The dark, contaminated fluids were replaced with clean solutions, and his organs began functioning properly for the first time in centuries. When Keth regained consciousness, the difference was remarkable. His golden eyes were brighter and more alert. His scales had begun to show their true colors, deep blues and greens with metallic highlights. The biomechanical implants along his spine pulsed with steady, healthy rhythms. "I feel as though I am awakening for the first time," Keth communicated. "The fog that has clouded my thoughts for so long is lifting." Maya stepped back to admire their work. They had been laboring for almost 24 hours straight, but the results were worth it. Keth was beginning to look like the magnificent warrior he had once been, but there was still more work to do. Several of the biomechanical systems showed signs of component failure that would require replacement parts. The neural interfaces needed recalibration to account for the clean connections, and Keth's physical condition, while much improved, would need time and care to fully recover. "How do you feel?" Maya asked. Keth carefully lifted his head and looked around the chamber. His movements were still somewhat stiff, but much stronger than before. "Better than I have felt in centuries. But I sense that not all systems are fully restored." Maya nodded. "Some of your biomechanical components have worn out completely. We'll need to fabricate replacement parts, and that could take days." "I have waited over 2 millennia, Keth replied. "A few more days will not matter." Lisa looked up from her analysis of the neural interface systems. "Maya, I'm reading some really interesting data from his memory storage systems. It looks like Keth has been recording information continuously throughout his stasis period." "What kind of information?" Maya asked. Keth's response came slowly, as if he was accessing memories that had been dormant for a long time. "I was tasked with preserving the knowledge of my people. Technical specifications, historical records, the locations of other Guardian sites. All of it has been stored in my neural matrices." Maya felt a chill as she realized the implications. Keth wasn't just an alien warrior. He was a living repository of knowledge from a civilization that had been lost for 2,000 years. The information he carried could be invaluable to science, history, and technology, but it could also be incredibly dangerous in the wrong hands. "Keth, how much knowledge are we talking about?" "The complete technical database of the Drakari Empire," he replied. "Energy systems, weapons technology, faster-than-light travel methods, biological enhancement techniques, and much more. Everything my people learned in 10,000 years of civilization." Maya looked at her crew and saw the same realization in their eyes. They had stumbled onto something much bigger than a simple mining operation. They had found a treasure trove of advanced alien technology that could change the course of human development. The question was what to do with it. Over the next 3 days, Maya and her crew continued their work on Keth's restoration. The dragon's condition improved steadily as they replaced worn components and recalibrated his biomechanical systems. But more importantly, Maya found herself developing an unexpected relationship with the ancient guardian. Keth was nothing like what she had expected from a warrior of an extinct alien empire. During the long hours of repair work, he proved to be intelligent, curious, and surprisingly gentle. He asked constant questions about human civilization, technology, and culture. In return, he shared stories of the Drakari Empire and his own experiences as a guardian. "Your people fascinate me," Keth communicated as Maya worked on replacing a damaged sensor array in his left shoulder. "You have achieved interstellar travel in such a short time. The Drakari took thousands of years to develop similar capabilities." Maya paused in her work to look at him. "How do you know about human development? You've been asleep for over 2,000 years. My stasis chamber was designed to monitor external signals and record significant events. I have passive sensor logs of human radio transmissions, spacecraft movements, and technological development over the past century." This revelation made Maya realize that Keth knew far more about humanity than any human knew about the Drakari. He had been watching and learning even while he slept. "What do you think of us?" Maya asked. Keth's response came slowly, as if he was choosing his words carefully. "Your species shows remarkable adaptability and determination, but also a tendency toward conflict and short-term thinking. You remind me of the Drakari in our early development phase." Tom looked up from his work on the power distribution system. "Early development phase? How long did it take your people to mature?" "Approximately 15,000 years from first spaceflight to the height of our civilization," Keth replied. "Humans have accomplished in 200 years what took us 2,000. Maya found this perspective both encouraging and unsettling. If humans were developing so much faster than the Drakari, what did that mean for their future? As the restoration work continued, Maya began to understand the true scope of Keth's knowledge. He carried detailed information about technologies that were centuries ahead of human capabilities. Energy systems that could power entire planets, medical techniques that could extend life indefinitely, weapons that could destroy solar systems. "Why were you chosen to guard this knowledge?" Maya asked as she calibrated his neural interfaces. "I was not originally a guardian," Keth explained. "I was a military commander during the final war against the Zorth Empire. When defeat became inevitable, the Council of Elders decided to preserve our knowledge for future generations. Warriors who had proven their loyalty and dedication were selected to become guardians. What happened to the others?" "There were 47 guardian sites established throughout Drakari space. I do not know how many of my fellow guardians still survive." Maya felt a chill at the implications. If all the guardian sites contained knowledge like what Keth carried, they represented a treasure trove that could revolutionize galactic civilization. But they could also be incredibly dangerous if that knowledge fell into the wrong hands. On the 4th day of restoration work, Maya received an unexpected communication from her corporate supervisors. The message came through the quantum relay system that connected Epsilon 7 to the company's headquarters. "Rodriguez, this is Director Adams. We've been monitoring your progress reports, and we're concerned about the delays. You were supposed to complete the site survey 3 days ago." Maya looked at her crew, all of whom had stopped working to listen to the communication. She had been sending regular reports about the mining survey, but she hadn't mentioned finding Keth. Corporate policy required reporting any alien artifacts or life forms immediately, but Maya had been hesitant to reveal their discovery. "Director Adams, we've encountered some complications with the underground structures. The geology is more complex than the initial scans indicated. Rodriguez, I'm sending an oversight team to evaluate the situation. They'll arrive in 48 hours. Have your full report ready." The communication ended, leaving Maya and her crew in worried silence. An oversight team meant corporate executives and security personnel, people who would see Keth as a valuable asset to be exploited rather than a person to be helped. "Maya, what are we going to do?" Lisa asked. "If corporate finds out about Keth, they'll take over the operation." Maya looked at the dragon, who had been listening to the entire conversation through his universal translator. "Keth, did you understand what just happened?" "Your superiors are coming to investigate," Keth replied. And you are concerned about their intentions regarding me and the knowledge I carry. Corporate will want to extract everything you know about your carry technology. They won't care about you as an individual. Ket's golden eyes focused on Maya with an intensity that made her feel like he was looking into her soul. And you do care about me as an individual? Maya realized that she did care. Over the past few days, she had come to see Keth not as an alien artifact, but as a person. Someone who had sacrificed everything to preserve his people's legacy and had been alone for longer than human civilization had existed. Yes, I do care, she said simply. Keth's response carried a tone that the translator labeled as gratitude. In 2 millennia of solitude, no one has shown me such consideration. Your species may be young, but you possess qualities that took the Drakari much longer to develop. Tom interrupted their conversation with urgent news. Maya, I'm picking up encrypted communications traffic. Someone is monitoring our quantum relay transmissions. Maya felt her stomach drop. If Corporate was already monitoring their communications, they might know more about the situation than she had realized. Can you determine the source? It's not coming from corporate headquarters. This is a military-grade encryption system. Someone else is watching us. Lisa ran a quick scan of the local space around Epsilon 7. I'm detecting a ship in stealth mode about 6 hours out from our position. It's been there for at least 12 hours. Maya turned to Keth. Is it possible that other factions know about the Guardian sites? The locations of most Guardian sites were known to several governments and organizations when the Preservation Protocol was initiated. It is likely that some of that knowledge survived the millennia. The implications were becoming clear. Corporate wasn't the only group interested in what lay beneath Epsilon 7. Other parties were already moving to claim Keth and his knowledge. How much of your restoration is complete? Maya asked her crew. About 70%, Tom replied. The major systems are functional, but he's still operating at reduced capacity. Maya made a decision that surprised even herself. We're accelerating the timeline. I want Keth mobile and combat ready within 24 hours. Maya, what are you thinking? Ben asked nervously. I'm thinking that we're about to be caught in the middle of a fight over something much bigger than a mining contract. And the only person here who has any chance of protecting that knowledge is Keth himself. Keth's biomechanical systems pulse brighter as he processed this information. You would help me prepare for combat rather than surrender me to your employers? You're not property to be surrendered, Maya replied. You're a person with the right to make your own choices about what happens to the knowledge you carry. For the first time since waking from stasis, Keth attempted to stand. His movements were still somewhat stiff, but he managed to rise to his full height. Even in his weakened condition, he was an impressive sight. 15 meters of biomechanically enhanced alien warrior, with scales that gleamed like polished metal and eyes that held the wisdom of millennia. Maya Rodriguez, Keth said, using her full name for the first time. You and your people have given me more than just restored function. You have given me hope that the knowledge I carry will be used wisely rather than exploited for destruction. Maya looked up at the towering dragon and felt a mix of awe and determination. What do you want to do with that knowledge? For 2,000 years, I have waited for someone worthy to inherit the legacy of the Drakari. I had expected that person to be another Drakari, but perhaps the universe has other plans. Tom was monitoring the approaching ship. Maya, that stealth vessel has changed course. It's moving to intercept the corporate oversight team. How long until the corporate team arrives? 36 hours. And the stealth ship? 24 hours. Maya turned to her crew. Pack everything we can carry. Essential equipment only. Where are we going? Lisa asked. Maya looked at Keth, who was testing his restored limbs and biomechanical systems. Somewhere we can finish the restoration work without interference. Keth, do you know of any safe locations? There's another Drakari facility approximately 1 day's travel from here. It was a research station rather than a Guardian site, but it should have equipment needed to complete my restoration. Is it functional? The automated systems should still be operational, and it is unlikely that others know of its location. Maya made her final decision. Then that's where we're going. Tom, prep the transport ship for departure. Lisa, download everything from Keth's chamber that might be useful. Ben, help me with the portable life support equipment. As her crew rushed to prepare for departure, Maya turned back to Keth. Are you sure you can trust us with this? We're just industrial engineers, not guardians or scholars. Keth's response carried a warmth that the translator struggled to convey. Maya Rodriguez, you have shown me more honor and compassion in 4 days than I received from my own people in the final years before the war. If the Drakari legacy is to survive, it will be because people like you choose to preserve it rather than exploit it. Outside, sensors detected the first signs of the approaching ships. Maya knew they were about to leave behind everything they had known for an uncertain future with an alien dragon who carried the secrets of a lost civilization. But as she looked at Keth, now standing tall and strong thanks to their work, Maya and her crew worked frantically to prepare for departure while Keth tested his restored systems. The dragon's movements were becoming more fluid as his biomechanical enhancements reached full operational capacity. His scales now gleamed with their original luster, and the neural interfaces pulsed with steady, healthy rhythms. Transport ship is prepped and ready, Tom reported as he loaded the last of their essential equipment. But Maya, we're talking about abandoning a corporate contract. They'll blacklist us from ever working in this sector again. Maya paused in her packing to look at her crew. These people had followed her for years, trusting her judgment even when it led them into difficult situations. Now she was asking them to give up their careers and possibly their freedom to help an alien they had known for less than a week. Anyone who wants to stay behind and explain this to corporate can do so, Maya said. I won't think less of anyone who chooses to protect their career. Lisa closed the case containing her scanning equipment and shouldered her pack. Maya, you saved my life during the Titan Station accident 3 years ago. If you think this is worth the risk, then I'm with you. Ben, who had been the most nervous about the entire situation, surprised everyone by speaking up. I've been thinking about what Keth said about the Drakari knowledge. If that information can help humanity develop better technology, better medicine, better ways of living, then maybe it's worth more than our jobs. Tom nodded in agreement. Besides, working with ancient alien technology beats mining or any day. Maya felt a surge of pride in her team. All right then, let's get moving before our visitors arrive. Keth had been listening to the conversation through his universal translator. Maya Rodriguez, your people are choosing to sacrifice their established lives to help me. This level of loyalty is remarkable. We're not just helping you, Maya replied as she secured the portable life support equipment. We're helping preserve something important for everyone. The crew finished loading their equipment and prepared to leave the underground chamber that had been Keth's home for over 2 millennia. The dragon took one last look around the facility that had kept him alive through the long centuries of waiting. I never expected to leave this place with companions, Keth said. I had accepted that I would die here alone when the systems finally failed. Maya activated the chamber's emergency lockdown sequence to prevent anyone else from accessing the facility systems. You're not alone anymore. The journey to the transport ship required Keth to travel through the narrow access shaft that Maya's crew had drilled. Even with his restored flexibility, it was a tight fit for a 15-meter dragon. But Keth managed to compress his biomechanical frame enough to make the ascent. When they reached the surface, Keth got his first look at the alien sky in over 2,000 years. The pale green atmosphere and twin moons were exactly as he remembered, but his enhanced senses detected changes in the atmospheric composition and electromagnetic fields. Your species has been busy, Keth observed as he analyzed the sensor data. The mineral extraction and industrial activity on this world has increased significantly since my last external observations. Maya led the group toward their transport ship, while keeping watch for any signs of the approaching vessels. Humanity is expanding fast, maybe too fast. Growth and expansion are natural for young civilizations, Keth replied. The challenge is learning to balance progress with wisdom. Tom was monitoring communications traffic as they boarded the ship. Maya, the corporate oversight team is demanding an immediate status report, and that stealth ship is definitely moving to intercept them. Let them sort each other out, Maya said as she started the ship's engines. We have somewhere else to be. The transport ship lifted off from Epsilon. 7 just as long-range sensors detected the arrival of the corporate oversight team. Maya watched the rear display as 3 ships dropped out of hyperspace near the mining station. 2 were standard corporate vessels, but the third was clearly a military design. Whoever is in that stealth ship doesn't want corporate getting their hands on Drakari technology either, Lisa observed. Keth studied the sensor readings from his position in the modified cargo bay. The third vessel matches the design signatures of ships used by the Hegemony Coalition. They were enemies of both the Drakari and the Zorth during the final war. They're still around after 2,000 years? Ben asked. Apparently so. And they would see the Drakari knowledge as either a threat to be eliminated or a weapon to be claimed. Maya plotted a course of the research station that Keth had described. It would take 18 hours to reach the location, traveling through hyperspace routes that were rarely used by commercial traffic. During the journey, Keth shared more details about the Drakari civilization and the knowledge he carried. The information was staggering in its scope and implications. Energy technologies that could make fossil fuels obsolete, medical techniques that could eliminate most diseases, manufacturing processes that could end resource scarcity. Why didn't your people share this knowledge with other species? Maya asked as she reviewed the technical specifications that Keth was able to display through the ship's computer interface. The Drakari were isolationists by nature, Keth explained. We believe that advanced technology should only be given to species that have proven their wisdom and maturity. Unfortunately, we were destroyed before we could establish meaningful contact with most other civilizations. What about now? Humanity is still young and makes a lot of mistakes. Keth's golden eyes fixed on Maya with that penetrating stare she had come to recognize. You and your people have shown me qualities that many Drakari never developed even after millennia of civilization. Compassion for those different from yourselves, willingness to sacrifice personal gain for a greater good, and the wisdom to preserve rather than exploit. The transport ship dropped out of hyperspace near a small, unremarkable asteroid. According to Keth's directions, the research station was hidden inside the rocky shell, protected by camouflage systems that were still functional after 2,000 years. I'm not detecting anything, Lisa said as she ran sensor sweeps of the asteroid. The concealment technology is designed to be undetectable to most scanning methods, Keth replied. Direct me to the communications array, and I will transmit the proper access codes. Maya guided the ship to a specific location on the asteroid surface. Keth interfaced with the ship's communication system and transmitted a complex series of signals. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then a section of the asteroid surface slid open to reveal a hidden docking bay. Welcome to Research Station Kithara, Keth announced as Maya piloted the ship into a concealed facility. The station was smaller than the Guardian facility on Epsilon 7, but it was clearly more advanced. Automated systems activated as they docked, and the bay pressurized with breathable atmosphere. When they disembarked, Maya was amazed by the level of technology that surrounded them. This is incredible, Tom said as he examined the docking bay equipment. Some of these systems are more advanced than anything I've seen in human space. Keth led them through the station corridors to a central laboratory complex. This facility was designed for biological and technological research. It should have everything needed to complete my restoration and establish a permanent base of operations. Over the next several hours, Maya and her crew worked with Keth to complete the final stages of his restoration. The research station's equipment was far more sophisticated than their portable tools, allowing them to fine-tune his biomechanical systems to levels of efficiency that exceeded even their original specifications. When the work was finished, Keth stood before them as a magnificent warrior he had been 2 millennia ago. His scales gleamed with inner light. His movements were fluid and powerful, and his presence commanded respect across species barriers. I am fully restored, Keth announced, thanks to the skills and dedication of Maya Rodriguez and her team. Maya looked at the dragon warrior and felt a sense of accomplishment unlike anything she had experienced in her career. What happens now? Now we begin the real work, Keth replied. There are 46 other Guardian sites scattered throughout this region of space. Some of my fellow Guardians may still be alive, waiting in failing stasis systems like I was. Others may have already died, but their knowledge storage systems might still be recoverable. Lisa pulled up star charts on the laboratory's display system. That's a huge area to search. It could take years to visit all the potential sites. Then we had better get started, Maya said with determination. Tom looked at the advanced technology surrounding them. Maya, are you saying we're going to become some kind of rescue and recovery team for ancient alien guardians? I'm saying we're going to preserve something important, Maya replied. The Drakari knowledge could help humanity and other species solve problems that have plagued us for generations, but only if it's used wisely and shared freely. Ket's biomechanical systems pulsed with what Maya had learned to recognize as approval. Maya Rodriguez, I offer you a formal partnership. Help me locate and restore my fellow guardians, and I will ensure that the knowledge of the Drakari is shared with those who will use it to benefit all species rather than to gain power over others. Maya looked at her crew and saw the same excitement and determination in their eyes that she felt. They had started this journey as corporate employees on a routine mining survey. Now they were partners with an ancient alien guardian in a mission that could change the course of galactic civilization. Partners, Maya said, extending her hand to Keth. The dragon carefully touched her hand with one massive claw in a gesture that bridged the gap between two very different species. Partners. Outside the research station, the galaxy continued its ancient dance of civilizations rising and falling, of knowledge being gained and lost, of conflicts over resources and power. But inside the hidden facility, something new was beginning, an alliance between a young, energetic species and the preserved wisdom of an ancient civilization. Maya Rodriguez had spent her career restoring broken machinery and abandoned facilities. Now she had found her greatest restoration project, one that would take not days or weeks, but years or even decades to complete. And for the first time in her life, she was exactly where she belonged,